Gleeson, co-founder of Farmer Power, and we're the Copy District Your Secretary too, Tony. The main thing we came to a witness in the agricultural sector is it's starting to become unsustainable in regards to whether it's the size of the farms being pushed for productivity instead of profitability. And these farms have got bigger, and it's driven away probably the youth from our industry. And we've had two meetings, one in South West Victoria and one in North Victoria in Tongala, and we drew 600 in 4 days' notice now at each of those meetings now. There's a big concern, and the thing is that the equity levels required for youth to stay in or come into this industry is increasing, and that we need some policies drawn up in regards to be able to drive youth back into the industry, whether it's agriculture in regards to beef, dairy, or grain. We've had a 17-point plan in here to be able to draw some policies around that to make all agriculture go forwards. But in regards to the dairy industry, we have anti-competitive behaviour in regards to the milk factories, where you've got loyalty payments, where you restrict the trade from moving from factory to factory. And we would like you to take action in regards to that with the ACCC, because they might be working with some white whisker of their guidelines. It is unfair and a restricted trade for farmers to move from factory to factory. Now that's a lifetime they've got to stay with that factory, otherwise they're penalised. Now if you've got a bank, you should be able to move from bank to bank. In farming you can't do that. So we would like you to look at that and take that on board so that we can stop the anti-competitive behaviour between factories. We also like you to draw a policy in regards to the youth to be able to encourage youth back into the industry, because all our meetings we had a lot of grey hair in those rooms. And no offence probably here again today, but we've got to be able to, if we want this industry, we've got to look for the future. Henry Bolte, back when he was Governor of Victoria, drew up a policy in regards to the HB settlement to clear all that land, and that's been repaid and repaid in regards to the government from the agricultural sector. So we'd like you to draw a vision for us to be able to go forward and be able to repay as agricultural people back to the government. And at the moment it's becoming unsustainable. And the $1 litre milk through our supermarkets has taken $700 million from us. Their regulation cost $670 million through Roger Corbett, former CEO of Woolworths, and $1 litre milk costs another $700 million. And it's unsustainable, and we'd like you to draw a policy up around that to be able to make farming sustainable again.
Look, I'm happy to have a look at the rather voluminous document that you've got in your hand. I'm happy to have a look at it, but just a couple of observations. Yes, we are going to have a full review of competition law and policy in this country, and I certainly want to establish a genuinely level playing field for businesses. And one of the things that has always concerned me is the ability of very large businesses, like for instance Coles and Woolies, to drive very, very hard bargains with much smaller businesses. And obviously the suppliers to Coles and Woolies, even if it's a big company, is generally speaking a much smaller company than Coles and Woolies itself. I don't know how you felt, but I was a little encouraged to see Coles announced the other day that it was going to enter into a 10-year contract with Goldman Murray. I thought that looked on balance like a good move, because Goldman Murray is at least a farmer-owned cooperative, and a 10-year deal looked like it was going to give farmers, at least Goldman Murray farmers, a certain stability of production and income, given that Coles appeared to be paying a premium against the current market for price. So look, I'm not sure that it's all bad. I'm not sure that it's all bad. And if I may say so, Chris, I understand why people look around at farmers' rooms and think, God, everyone looks a bit old here. But 30 years ago, I think people still had the same view. I can remember seeing statistics on the age of farmers when I was at university 30 years ago. The average age of farmers was in the mid-50s then. So I suspect that for all sorts of reasons, it tends to be an occupation which is dominated by more mature people. One thing I would never want to do is take any action that would drive down the price of agricultural land. That would make it easier for young people to buy a farm, but by God, it wouldn't do anything for all the people who've currently got farms, particularly those that have got a few pressures on them, because the last thing you want to do is to damage their assets. So, Chris, happy to have a look at your proposals. There may well be some that we can take up, but in the end, the best thing we can do for the farming sector is to get a level playing field and then to ensure that market competition is operating, because Australian farmers are good at growing good product, at selling good product, at innovating. I mean, let's face it, when I was at school, we all learned about the stump jump plough, rust-resistant wheat, the sunshine harvester. These were all terrific examples of how Australian farmers were better than anyone else at doing the job, often under harsh conditions, and I don't think modern farmers are any less capable than their forebears.
And Tony,